To respect the people who have joined and the presenter, it's 5 minutes to time. So we are going to start. So this is the East Central and South Africa Microsoft Excel Forum, brought to you by Crisp Excel. If you want to support these webinars, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our presenter for today is Meghanathan. Meghanathan is one of Excel data analyst enthusiast I know on LinkedIn. If you haven't followed him on LinkedIn and seen how he is good in Excel, I would like you to please consider following him. His areas of expertise is Power Query, Excel, and corporate training. Yes, his LinkedIn URL I'll send you, and also he has a website. He is also the founder of exceled.com, very interesting website. So the topic of today is untapped potential of Excel function arguments. So Meghanathan,
yes,
you can continue.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so let me share my screen now.
Yeah, and you can do more introduction in case there's something I missed that you'd like people to know about you.
Sure.
Okay.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I don't know, based on your region, you can take it, no? This is Meghanathan. Actually, I do have a total years of experience of about 25 years, in which, for first 15 years, I was in automobile industry. Then during 2015-16, those period, life asked me to switch my career into some other field. So I decided to start my career in data analysis world. So that I started learning Excel, Power Query, and then DAX. Those things I started learning. For the last 7-8 years, I do have experience of working in Excel and Power Query. Then after nearly 6 years of experience, I decided, why can't I start my own concern as a startup concern? So I started Excel, which is, last year, July, I started this. It's a startup. And I'm giving some trainings and doing some projects, for the individuals. And then the company which I worked, the previous one is SICAM, which gave me an opportunity to do this, the projects and to do some training for them. So this is what about me. And I have to thank Scope for this wonderful opportunity, because in my dream, I do have some dream to get bigger in Excel, and this is the first step. So for that, thank you very much for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me share my screen now. Okay. Is it visible? Yeah. Okay. So
yes.
As Christopher told, this is about hidden capabilities or untapped potential of Excel function arguments. Function arguments. So I will start with the index, since this is the first formula which I started learning, which pulled me into the data analysis world. So I start with the index function. Here is our data, which contains a one row and multiple columns. Here it's a 5 columns, right? So if I have to extract some elements, some fourth element or fifth element, we usually do this, start with the index formula. And array is a range where our result X resides. Right now, see here, B3 to F3, that's where our result, somewhere inside this range, our result resides. And let me hard code this. Usually we don't hard code, but for example, I will hard code this. Say for example, we need to extract the fourth element, right? See here, I'm putting this 4 in the roll number argument, but here it contains only one row, multiple columns. So it has to be a column number argument, right? But index function understands this is the one row and multiple columns. So the 4 has to be a column number argument. So it will not complain, you're putting the row number argument on us. It will, it's okay for that. If I press enter, you can see it extracts fourth element, right? This is a row number argument, but I'm feeding a column number here. That's fine with the index function. So this is our first example. So this is a one-way lookup. It's not that much, issue with this. But what about the two-way lookup? What if we miss an argument? What if we ignore an argument? I'll tell you this. Here, our requirement is to extract the entire column or entire row, consider it that way. First, I will try to place the example for the entire column. Then I will start with the index function. As I said earlier, array is a range where we expect the results to be residing. So here is somewhere inside this range or result is hidden. The row number argument, I don't feed anything because now I need the entire column. So for now, I can skip the argument or I can place 0 here. Both is fine. For now, I'll skip the argument. The column number argument, I will use match function. This is a February month is our lookup value, and I'm going to look into this row. And this is going to be exact match, so let me put 0 here. Close parenthesis for match, close parenthesis for index. And press Control Enter. See, it delivers entire column. The same way we can do it for the entire row. Here, you can see this. I just place 0 in the column number argument, that's fine. Or we can ignore it. It will deliver you the entire row. Then usually, we get some questions in the interview. What is the difference between index and VLOOKUP? We will say, VLOOKUP, has to be the lookup value in the leftmost column. The index can do it in the opposite ways. In that way, we will say. I will show you example. I will show you a difference, which is new. Yeah. See here, I did a VLOOKUP and I picked this sales of February month C product, and this formula is driven by this drop downs. So if I change the drop down here, the numbers changes, right? This is done by VLOOKUP, and here I did the same thing with the index and match. Here I used two match since it's both row and column arguments are there. I have to provide the two coordinates, so I use two matches. But the difference is, let me try what is the output here, what the index function delivers. For that, I will wrap the entire index function inside self function, in which I'll ask it to extract the address. So, what is the reference? What is the reference which we are going to extract the address? And I will wrap index function here. This is the output of the index function. I am wrapping it inside self function. At the end, let me close parenthesis and press Control Enter. See, this delivers a reference C28. See here, you can see C28, right? Index delivers a reference. But in the same case, if I try this here with the VLOOKUP, we close parenthesis and press Control Enter, it says, I don't know what you are trying to do. So VLOOKUP doesn't deliver you a reference, it delivers a value. You understand this, right? So index helps. We can use index in some other ways where we can use a reference. I will show you a use case. Just a moment. Before that, I will get into the one more example. And then I will show you a use case for this. So index delivers a reference. Then I will show you one more thing, which is very less used. It's one hidden capability of index function arguments, but it's very much less used. I don't know why. I will tell you this. See here, our requirement is to get the sum of sales for product B and product D. So I have to extract the sum sales for B and D, and I have to do sum. In which, if I try to extract the values by using index, again I will say this is an array. The row number argument, I will use match function. These two products are our match value, and this is our lookup array. And match is exact match. I will so place 0. Then we close parenthesis for match. We close parenthesis for index and rest from the entry. Since this is a Office 365, it delivers a value. But if I evaluate this, see this delivers a error, right? Because index function cannot handle the array of values here. If it is an entire column and an entire row, it's fine. But if it's a array of items, then it index had some issues. In that case, in the earlier versions of Excel 2016, we can find a way. That is a workaround. But it's a bit, I don't know about the reason behind this, logic behind this. It was used in the Excel 2011 Chinese forum. I learned this from that Mike Gilman YouTube channel. I'll tell you this. Here, I will wrap this match function. If, I'll start with the n, which will extract the number, and then I'll start with the if. In the logical test, I will place 1, and then our match function, I will wrap it in a value if true. I will close parenthesis for if, I will close parenthesis for m. If I evaluate this now, see, it delivers the result, right? We close parenthesis, we can sum it on. We can sum or we can do any other things. So it's a we do have some issues with the index function handling that arrays, and we find some workarounds. So now I will get into the use case. So then what we can do with the reference key. Index delivers a reference. What is the use? What we can do with this? I will tell you the simple example. Here is the data which contains month, product, and sales details. So I just created some summarized table which is driven by this drop down. And if I change this into a Jan, it will provide you the Jan month result. If I pick March, it will give us that March month result. And I just know this chart is driven by this data, summarized data. I just did it with the index and aggregate. You don't have to worry about this. Just get the point now. See, the February month has 5 elements. So I just now made the chart so that the 5 rows are captured here. We change the drop down here, then it has only 3 elements. So here you can see the num errors are plotted in the x-axis, right? These charts can handle errors in y-axis. It ignores this. It just places 0 here. But in the x-axis, it has to place num errors. So this is a bit awkward. If someone knows somewhere, I can find a way to get an expandable range. And if it shrinks and extends based on the data, then it will be easier one, it will be a helpful one to present it in a chart. So I will show you a method here, the index function. So if we refer a cell, we can do it in that way, right? I will just refer L4 and I will use shift colon. So that now it will be like L4 to L4. Instead of L4, I can place L5 or L7. So it refers a range. The same way, instead of L7, the second reference, we can use index function. So that it will provide expandable range or shrinkable range. That's what I did here. You can see after F4, I just used the index function after colon. So it becomes a range. This delivers C. But if I evaluate this, it's a reference which is F4 to F7. So it delivers A, B, and C. The same way I did the formula for y-axis. So x-axis and y-axis. And I copied this formula, this entire formula, and used it in the name manager. Here you can see the x-axis is F4 to F7. If I change this here, the drop down, and place it in the February month, then let me again get into the name manager. Here you can see this refers to F4 to F8. This is an expandable range, right? And then since I use this name range as a data for this chart. So forget about this chart. If I change this into Jan month, see, chart fits the data and it's more visually appealing, right? Instead of plotting action is, this is great to watch, right? So in that way, we can find a way to get the expandable range or shrinkable range. Is it fine? I'm moving in the right direction, right? So
yes. Would you mind repeating that expandable range of index again? How to use index to get the
this reference or this about this n and if?
No, the last one, the last use case.
Use case, yeah.
Index to get an expandable,
Yeah. See, here, if we use index and aggregate, we have to accommodate for the larger number of rows, right? See, here February has a 5 number of rows. So in most cases, we have to accommodate large number of rows. If the chart is driven by this data range, and if we change this drop down into Jan, The num errors will be plotted here. So I will show you this. So in the x-axis, num errors will be plotted, but in the y-axis, charts usually ignores the errors. So it does not create any issues here. So this is not now conveying the result what we expect, since people are starting to look at this errors, they will come out of this visualization. So to make it more appealing, I'm trying to find a way to get an expandable range here. That's what I'm doing here. Here you can see how my starting range is F4. This is F4. I'm just locking it. And the second range, second reference, if it is a F7, then there will be 3 cells. If it is F9, there will be n number of cells. So here I'm using the index function. Why? Because index delivers a reference. So I can use capability to feed this range for the chart. So here I'm using an entire range. I'm accommodating some more ranges, rows, so that in the future some data is increased. It's not an issue. So I'm referring F4 to F11. In which for the row number argument, I'm using the wildcards, which I will explain you here. I do all these examples. So wildcards will pick the numbers other than errors. It will ignore errors. So here you can see the counting function delivers 3. So this enter index. Actually, it shows a C, but actually it's a F7. Then it's evaluate and provides us delivers us C. But actually the hidden details is F7, the range F7. Therefore, we can use it in the expandable range or shrinkable range for the charts here. Simply I'm copying this range formula and I'm placing it in the name manager. See here you can see. Now this just reports 3 cells. If I change this into February, you can see this. Now this refers into 5 cells, right?
Okay.
The same way you can see here, this refers into this.
Okay, I think we can proceed.
Yeah. That's how it works. So let me get into the other examples. As I said earlier, this is about count if with wildcards. This is commonly used, so you don't have to bother about this. You already knew this. See here. This is our data. Consider this is our data which contains text, blank values. That means Excel considers this as a zero length text string. These are the numbers, these are the errors, not available as division error. In which I am trying to get the count of items with just 1 character. So here you can see I use E5, which is the question mark. Question mark is the wildcard, which is the replacement of 1 character. That's a text character. If you know, this question mark won't pick the numbers. Say for example, here we do have 2 cells of 1 character, A and B. So it provides us 2. If I change this into 1 for some other numbers, 1 length, it says it finds only 1 A. It does not find this one because this question mark is the replacement of a text character, 1 text character. And in the same way, we can use it double question mark, which is the replacement of the 2 text characters. So here it picks AA. If I change this into BB, then it will become. It delivers the 2 count of 1. It picks these 2 ones. Okay. And this one is less used again. It's a less used. The equal sign in the criteria argument means blank. So it picks the count of blanks, right? Here it's a 1 blank. If I delete this, you can see there are 2 blanks. So equal sign, which means extract the blank items in the list. That's what we use in expandable range, which means 1 or more character. Question mark is the replacement of the 1 character. Asterisk is the replacement of many characters, all characters of whatever may be. So what I ask this Excel, with this criteria is, count the elements which have 1 or more character. That's what I'm asking. So it picks 3 here. See these 3 items. Again, all those formula does not encounter number. This is not consider numbers as a replacement of these characters. The same way, what I told you here, the same concept works with the summing function. And again, this is a less used. The criteria is blank. That means pick the sales where the month column is blank. So it picks only this and this. 279. And I'll tell you one more example. Some if usually ask you 3 arguments, right? Criteria range. Read the first argument as criteria range, then criteria and sum range. But what if both criteria range or sum range are same? In our case, our requirement is to extract the sum of sales where sales is greater than 200. That's our requirement. So both criteria range and sum range are same. This is our range. In that case, we don't have to feed the sum range argument. We can start with the criteria. So here I feed the criteria range, which is C3 to C46, that's 646. And our criteria is greater than or equal to 200. So if I press enter now, so this delivers us the sum of sales where sales are greater than 200, just with the 2 arguments. And I'll show you one more example here. With the sum range or no sum if count if those formulas in all our formulas, what we expect is now if we provide the 2 ranges, it has to be of the same size, both in rows and columns. But in the sum if argument, here our requirement is to get the sum of sales for March month. See, this is the sales for the March month, this is our requirement. In which what I'm trying to do is now, in the criteria range, I'm referring the month column. The criteria, I'm just referring this March month. But in the sum range, you can see this. No, I'm not referring the entire column. I'm just referring the first cell. But which gives us the correct result. I'll tell you how it is. The sum range can extract the size of the range from the criteria range. So here, it's like Excel consider this as C52 to B62. That's how it looks. The formula. Both delivers the same result. Tell you one more thing with the logical if functions. I'll start with the counting function. Before that, let me tell you this. Our requirement is to get the count of sales which occurred in 2024. This is our requirement. I will start with the counting function. The range argument, I will try to extract the year from this date column. Then I'll try to pick this 2024. If I close parenthesis and press Control Enter, it says I don't know what you are trying to do. That's the meaning of this dialog. It means the range argument and counting function can only accept a range. Here I am doing some calculation. I am extracting the year from this date column. It becomes an array. The counting function and summing functions cannot handle arrays here. So it will to count this with the criteria, count if is not helping. In that way, we can get help from some product. I'll tell you how to do this. I'll try to start with the double negative, which is fastest method to convert trues and falses into numbers. Now I will use year of this is equal to this. Then I'll close parentheses. See here, this delivers trues and falses. When we press F9 here, you can see trues and falses. And then I'm using this double negative. I'm converting these trues and falses into zeros and ones. So if I press F9 now, you can see zeros and ones. Sum product helps us to, since it's only one array, it will only do sum. It won't do any product operations. It will only do sum. If I press Enter, so it gives us the count. we can use sum itself. That's not an issue, but you have if you are using Excel 2016 or earlier version, you have to press Control Shift Enter. Since I use Office 365, I can simply enter here. That's it. About some product. Instead of countif, when you can't use countif, you can use some product. The same way we can do it in the other criteria also. Here I am trying to find sum of sales for the year 2024. I'm using the same construction and I'm simply multiplying this with the sales. That's it. That's fine, right? I can get into the other examples, right? This way, am I audible?
Yes. We can hear you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, when you compare in terms of speed and the Excel recalculating, how do I avoid some product? Is there another way of using sum if other than creating a helper column if I want to extract the year?
Yeah, that we can do. Helper column, I'll show you this. See, here I will put a column and I will try to extract. Now we can use the countif function. This will not be an issue. Since now we refer a range here, that will not be an issue. But you have to make sure that you have to decide whether you are adding a column or you are doing it with formulas. Yeah.
So there's no way of using countif without using the helper column?
No, in that way we cannot use. No, if you have to use do some calculations here in the countif function, the range has to be if it is array, then you have to find some other ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me get into the if function. So this is our data. Consider this is the data. These are on the paid status. So what if now our requirement is to sum the amount which are already paid? This is the requirement. Since already the paid status are Boolean values, trues and falses, you can see people again use default to do 6 equal to true. People will check whether this is equal to true or not. Again, see, this already delivers the true and falses. So we don't have to check whether it's true or not. We can directly use default to do 6 here. So we can get this amount, right? This is less common, only the people who starts in Excel will do this. But even if you use it for some more time, people again will check whether, in this case, if I have to get the sum of invoice amount, if the paid status is 1, then again people will place it, is it equal to 1 or not, right? They will check in that way. So I will tell you one thing, behind the scenes, trues are considered as 1, falses are considered as 0. So you don't have to make this as a trues and falses. Again, this is true. 1 is a true, 0 is false. Instead of checking whether it is equal to 1, we can simply refer here for cases. Now I'll tell you one more thing. If function and condition formatting looks in different ways, If the numbers have 0, then it considers this as a false. Numbers other than 0, whether it can be a positive integer or negative integer, positive decimals or negative decimals, it's a true. So here we don't have to check whether this is greater than 0. We don't have to check this. We can simply put D12 to D14. This means 2 and 4 are true, 0 is false. That's how if function looks. And again, I'll tell you this. If function delivers a reference, we can use it in some other ways. If function delivers a reference, you can see here, I just use if function. But if this is greater than 0, then I'm asking it to provide C12. And I'm referring it with the address delivers C12, which is a reference. So we can use if function to create an expandable range or something like that. If I have to tell you this, even choose function and then X lookup the functions which came after the index, that X lookup, those things that delivers a reference. So we can use it in that way. And in Office 365, we do have a extract function. But earlier in the Excel 2016 or earlier version, we can find a workaround to horizontally stack columns, right? In that way, I will show you one workaround. Here, the logical test argument, I place within the curly braces array constants, 1s and 0. And in the value of argument, I refer to B column. The value false argument, I refer to amount column, which is D column. Since I wrapped it inside the curly braces, it's an array, and it delivers a 2 columns, right? Which is horizontally stacked. Of course, in the earlier versions, we cannot load it into Excel. No, we can do some aggregations here, and then we can use it in the calculations. So this is handy when when we are doing some complex calculations. The other way is we can use choose function. In the same way, I'm wrapping 1s and 2s within curly braces, and I'm referring to ranges. The output is like horizontally stacked. Here I will tell you one more capability of if-error function. See, this is a range. Somewhere, my requirement is to extract this range with some other contents. See here, I'm trying to place one in the 2x2 size, 2 rows of 2 column size. We can do this with the if-error function. I just wrap this one within the curly braces. The value of argument, I referred a range. The content inside the range doesn't matter. It's about size, 2 row, 2 column size. That's it. With this, we force if-error function to deliver this in a 2 row, 2 column size. If I place 5 here, to deliver this 5. We can use those things inside calculations. Inside when we do complex calculations, this will be more helpful. And I will show you much more examples with this kind of trick. I will show you much more examples. Most of formulas can do this. I will show you this. Then we get into the other examples. Here we do our names, some duplicates. There are some duplicates. Don't worry about the formula which I use. Just pick this concept. This is a resulting array in which I use some formulas. It's a resulting array which contains unique numbers and errors, isn't it? Unique numbers and errors. But for my final output, I have to find a way to remove the errors and to pick only the numbers. If it's Office 365 version, we can do this with a much more easier formula. I will refer this. And then I'll use ignore error, which is 2. Or for a better case, we can use 3, which will ignore both blanks and errors. This is done. Just like that, we can do it in Office 365. But if it's a Excel 2016 or earlier version, I'll show you a trick with this. The outer construction is a match. Inside there is a match. Don't worry about this. The outer construction, here is the match type. 0 for exact match. And this 0, I will try to do some other way so that it delivers 2 values. So I will try to wrap it inside the curly braces. Okay, 1 more 0 here. Close curly braces. Press enter. So it delivers 2 columns of the same result. So here we use comma, right? Comma means next column. So it delivers 2 columns. And I'm going to wrap this inside if-error function. If-error, deliver me a blank. Now I'll try to wrap it inside mode.mult function. Mode.mult is a simple mode which will help us to extract most occurred number. That's why I told you it has to be a unique number. If duplicates are there, mode.mult will deliver us the wrong result. So I use mode.mult. And most of just like most of other aggregate functions, mult will ignore text. See here you can see this will ignore this text and will pick the most occurred number. In that way, all are 2 times occurred. So it will place 1, 2, 3 in once and will ignore the text values. Then we close parenthesis here. You see, get unique numbers and we remove the resulting array. This is one way of doing this. No, if we are not using a match function and we get now the same kind of resulting array, you don't have to worry about this. What we have to do, I already told you. Just try to divide this by 1 as an array constant 1, 1. So it will deliver your true column and it will deliver the same list. Now we can use if error function and more than one. I will give you some insights about lookup function. So here, this is a lookup table. Our requirement is to find the tax amount for this income. Here I put some values here, some random numbers. This is a lookup table in which you can see this is a 3-row, 4-column table. So number of rows are lesser than columns. And this is the best suited for horizontal lookup, right? So if I try to use the lookup with this column, this is a lookup value. And in the lookup vector or in the array argument, I will refer this entire table. Just see what is the result here. See, it delivers us 7.5%, right? No? How it is done, since the number of rows are lesser than number of columns, it considers we have to do horizontal lookup. So it looks this 56,000 here, and the 56,000 resides somewhere inside this place. 50,000 between 50,000 and 75%. So it picks 7.5%. It does a horizontal lookup. In the same way here you can see more number of rows, less number of columns. So it considers it has to be a vertical lookup. So again it says 56,000 resides in between this. So we'll pick 7.5%. That's what lookup function does. And here you can see, in the lookup array argument, I referred an entire table, but how it picked this 7.5%? It looks into the first column, and 56,000 resides here, and then extracts the value from the last column. Here it's a second column. It may be a third column or fourth column. If you refer the entire table, it extracts the value from the last column. So we don't have to use the result vector. We can use it with the 2 arguments. Again, just like a sum if function, I'll tell you the capability of lookup function. Since lookup function has the capability to do both VLOOKUP and SLOOKUP, here instead of a one cell reference, I have to feed this direction. So here I just refer 2 cells. Instead of referring the whole range, I can refer only 2 cells in which I'm giving the direction that it has to be a vertical lookup. So it will pick the size from here, result in lookup vector, and will change this result vector into a C36 into C39. Then it gives us the correct result. See, gives 7.5%. So, mostly we used to work with other workbook references, right? We do some VLOOKUP with other workbook. And I will tell you, one thing with the VLOOKUP function. Let me please work with this. Here I'm trying to look for the central region, and I'm trying to extract this person here, person or manager in E column. For that, I will be doing a simple VLOOKUP. The region is our lookup value. table arrays this entire table. My requirement is to get the second column. This is exactly so I'm taking 0. It's control enter. So I just use VLOOKUP and get fetch this manager name. If we save this lookup table and close it. Mostly, if you use some product or some other functions, if you close that reference workbook, the formula will break. But VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, since there are lookup functions, this won't break. This will have this values in the memory. You can see here, you pick this location, right? And if I change this into some other region, see, sound, it delivers the value. This is common. This is not a big issue. It's a basic thing. But if I change the name here, say for example, let me change the name here. Now come here. See, again, this has been looking into the lookup sheet, which is not there in the folder. Now, if I change this region, the formula works. It does not break. This is common with the VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions. What if I delete this? Now this entire file is not there in the location. Even if we change this region, it works. So it remembers VLOOKUP remembers the reference, even if it is the moved or deleted. Let me give you some examples in our text functions. So this is our input data, in which I have to provide this row delimiter and column delimiter in the way when we concatenate this. In that way, we can, instead of dealing the delimiter argument, we can use multiple delimiters. If it is a array constants, we have to feed it in the curly braces, or we can use some other formulas to deliver us this multiple delimiters. Here I use 2 delimiters, and you can see this result here. In the same way, text split function can handle a multiple delimiter. Here our requirement is to extract only the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, and 88. In a text split function, the column delimiter I used sequence of numbers 0 to 9 as a delimiter. So it's a multiple delimiters. These numbers act as a delimiters. This is the delivered items. So text delivers only text. Then I'm using this as a delimiter inside text to speech function to extract only numbers. So in this case, I use multiple delimiters here. And I told you here, we can do it in multiple ways. This particular example, I'll show you how to do this. Again, this is a 2 row 2 column. I have to find a way so that we can deliver with some other items. One maybe a 2 or maybe a text characters. See here, I use left function. By default, left function and right function picks the first character. So if I ignore the second argument at close parenthesis, you can see it extracts the first. In the same way, if I use the right argument here, and if you ignore this argument, it will pick the last character, rightmost character. But if let me start a command, ignore this number of characters in second argument and see what is the result. It delivers blanks. That way we can concatenate this with any numbers what we need. Here I just need 1. So I'll concatenate this with 1. The same way, if I use left function, this delivers the same thing. Find function. Find text is I don't feed anything. It's a 0-length text string. Within this text, if I refer this range, again, Directly it gives 1. We don't have to concatenate. We don't have to do any other operation. Directly delivers 1. The same way such also reacts in the same way. The different kinds ways to manipulate our range to get the different result. I'll give you some examples in the make function. It's the most powerful function when it comes to handling texts. Here our requirement is to extract the last name. So I don't know about the number of characters. It can be a 10, it can be 15. I know that starting position, right? Now since the position after the space is our starting position. So I used to find on the space within this. So it delivers us the starting position. What is the number of characters we are going to fetch? I don't know about this. It may be a 10, it may be n number of characters. So here I'm just feeding most possible number of characters. We can use a maximum of 255 characters, but it kind of a overkill. So I'm just limiting this to 25. I'm sure that there won't be any last name more than 25 characters. If it is no, you have to use the most possible character range. So what it does now, it looks from here, it looks for 25 characters and only picks the characters which are available. So in that case, we can achieve our requirement, right? So this is about number of characters. And I will tell you some more things with the start number argument. That's also more flexible. See here, this is our input range. And I'm asking it to extract the substring. Was 0 length text string.
Hello?
So am I audible?
You're breaking. If you can repeat like the last 1 minute, you're breaking.
Yeah, about this, the mid function, right?
Yes.
Number of characters argument. So okay, no problem. Let's go back. Here our requirement is to extract the last name after the space, right? This is our requirement. But we can find a starting position here. I can try to search for the space and then I will add 1 so that now I will get into this place. But what about the length of the last name? I don't know about this. It can be a 9, it can be 15, whatever maybe. In that way, we can use the flexibility of the number of characters argument. Here I just referred, I just fed most possible numbers. I am sure that there won't be any last name more than 25 characters. So I am just feeding 25. We can use most of 255. But for now, I'm limiting it to 25 and I'm pressing enter. So mid function now starts from here and search for 25 characters. Since it will just only 9 characters or 8 characters, just delivers. Do not complain. Do not deliver any errors. Simply does this job. This is about number of characters. And the same applies with the start number argument. See here I just fed 100. So I'm asking it to look for the substring which starts from the 100 character and get the length of character for 15. It actually looks for this and then finds 0 length text strings. Sorry, I cannot find anything, so I just deliver 0 length text string. That's what it does. It's so polite, does not deliver any errors. Most of other functions, substitute or replace function will deliver an error, but mid function has a good capability. Now let me tell you something about the replace function, which is one of the most powerful text functions. Here our requirement is to split this into 2 parts and to insert hyphen at the 5th character. Just for the example, I'm hard coding this, but we can find a way to make it a dynamic one. We can use some other nested formulas here. So here, the start number argument, I'm just feeding 5. The number of characters arguments, I don't want to replace anything. I just want to insert a hyphen. So I'm ignoring it, the number of characters argument, or we can place 0. In the new text argument, I'm just using hyphen with the double quotes. If I press enter, it just inserts hyphen at the fifth character. We can do it the same thing with the text function also. Text function fits well with this requirement. And see, but we can do this with the replace functions. Again, with the substitute function, our requirement is to know just to remove that space in between, right? So it's a random exercise. There is no meaning, but I'm just trying to explain this to you. I'm just extracting this B43. It's a micro as our text. Whole text is a space. So with the double quotes, I just place space. The new text argument, usually people will do double quotes, which is a zero length text string. But by default, it replaces with a zero length text string. So we can ignore this and press enter. This will do the same process. That's it from my side.
Okay, that was impressive. If you don't mind, can you repeat the text split, the multiple delimiters? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, this one.
Yes. Yeah.
So let me start from the beginning.
If any one of us have a question, you can put it on the chat, or you can raise your hand. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Before that, let me explain you about this text split function. See, yeah. I will start this from scratch. I'm just referring this B9 cell and the text argument. The column delimiter argument, I said no, we can use multiple delimiters. Here I'm trying to extract the numbers. So I will use a sequence of numbers from 0 to 9. Start with the 0. So that it will deliver us. See here you can see column delimiter delivers us 0 to 9. So this will become a 0. These numbers will become a delimiter. So if it finds 1, it will split. If it finds 2, it will split. In that way, just see the result. What is this? See, if I remove this ignore empty argument, you can see that. See, but mega has been split into separate one. 1 is split into separate item. 2 and 3 in each places it splits and provides some blanks. So I don't need these blanks. That's why I'm ignoring this blanks here. Ignore empty. This delivers text values in different cells. And again, I can use this as a column delimiter. See, I use this as a column delimiter. And this is going to be my text. This is my column delimiter. And again, I'm ignoring this empty values. Close parenthesis on the center. See, it extracts only numbers. Now I can concatenate this, or I can do some text functions, or just by converting this into a numbers, I can do some. Whatever the operations here, we can do it.
Okay.
Am I clear?
And the first one where yes,
yeah, text join. Yeah, see, in the same way, the first argument of the text join function is a delimiter, which we know mostly we will use a single delimiter like a space or pipe symbol. In that way we will use, but it has the capability to handle multiple delimiters. It will place in the same order. Say here, let me use comma and pipe symbol, and I will close curly braces. See, comma curly braces. Now I can use this as a row and column delimiter in the future with some other calculations, some other manipulations.
Let me ask a question. What if you wanted to do 123 and 23, then 321 and 32?
Yeah, actually we can do this. You were asking me to get into the direction. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually we can do this in that way. Then we can I can use text type. So there are other ways just to transpose this way. We can do it multiple ways. I can use toCal function here. I toCal. This has an capability to look into the columns, scan by columns, and then I will now use wrap rows or wrap calls so that now to get into the older version. See.
Okay.
Like we can use it in multiple ways.
Okay.
Now I can use
then
text
now you apply the text split now to that new array.
Yeah, here.
Okay. Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Anyone else with a question, you can put it in the chats. You can raise a question. You can raise your hand. I'm going to unmute you. Somebody says that you please repeat the remove errors.
Yeah, sure.
And Michael, I'm going to unmute you in a minute.
So I use some formulas because people mostly use this, it can be a match construction or some other construction in which we will get unique numbers and hash-names, the errors, whatever may be the kind of errors. From there, our requirement is to remove the errors and get these numbers, unique numbers. See, if we use Office 365, we can do it in the way that I can simply ignore blanks and errors here. The argument and close. I'll do it in that way. But if I use Office 2016 or earlier version, mostly people do this in now helper columns way. But we can do this in the formula itself. See, I'll try to find a way to make it a two-column result. So here, I just put 0 here. I will make it an array constant 0, 0, commas deliver us two columns. If I place it in a semicolon, this delivers the result because ranges are not matching. It will deliver only two possible results and then hash-names. But here, in our case, I need to place it in two columns. So I'll make it in this way. Now I can remove the errors using the if error function. I'll replace the errors with the double quotes, zero length text string. See here, ones are there for 2 times. This number is there for 2 times. This is 3. So mode will find each occurrence is same. So it will extract the unique items of this 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 12, 3. So I'm using this capability of mode.merge function. I'm simply wrapping it. See here. Either it's a sum, average, the aggregate functions has the capability to ignore text values. In that way, mode.merge ignores text values. These text values are ignored and it picks only those numbers. And then picks the mode, which is the most occurred numbers. In our case, every number is occurred in 2 times, so it picks all those numbers. If our resulting array does not contain a match function, how can we convert this into a 2-column result? Don't worry about this. Consider we do have some other formulas here. Just try to divide it up some other way. We can even try to add this 0, 0. This delivers the same result. Or I can try dividing it by 1, 1. So you should not change the value of the numbers, value of inside the number formula. If I add 0 once, then it will change this into 2, this into 3. So that's why I'm just making sure the number is not changed. You got it right?
Gladys. Yeah, she says she
Thank
got
you.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Michael, you are on. You can ask your question. You can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself, please. Um, okay, you can write your question. Sorry, I don't know why you can't unmute yourself. Yeah, try now. Try to unmute now. Sorry, you have to type your question. Sorry, you can't hear you. I think the question, Megan, is the question on the replace. If I replaced 1, 2, 3 with ones.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, the if error, yes. Yes, that if error.
Yeah. So actually, here I'm trying to manipulate that our input range and try to find a way to get the exact size, 2 row, 2 column of output with some other data, maybe a one or some other text. If that is the case, we can use if error function multiple ways. We can do it in multiple ways. But I'm using if error function. I'm just wrapping our record result inside curly braces. So I'm making it an array. If I place 5, this will deliver a single cell value. Instead, I'm making it an array. And in the value of argument, I'm referring the size. So if I place it in a 3 row 3 column, then it will deliver us same size. The value for argument forces if error to deliver the items the same range. What we fed in the value for error. It's about just the range. The contents within this range doesn't matter. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Yes, understood. Anyone else with a question? So as Gladys is typing, Megan,
yeah.
Do you have recorded courses or how do you train?
See, okay, actually, I'm doing training for individual persons. See, through LinkedIn connections or my earlier work experience, no, I'm getting some requirements, but individual training. I don't do as of now. I'm not doing any kind of training with 10 people or 15 people.
Okay.
But I'm doing it for my earlier concern, which is CCAM. I'm doing it as a project coordinator, or I'm doing some training also for them. Other than this, I have to start this. From my side also, I'm improving myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gladys is asking, which I think that was my second question is, how do you get to understand how to use the different functions together? You are making it look so easy.
Yeah, actually the nested functions. You are asking me to.
Yes. How do you make nesting functions look so easy?
See, actually, that's what I told you, Krishna. Actually, I had to move out of automobile industry, and then I have to find a way in some other industry. So at that time, I had a little bit of knowledge about Excel. So I decided, no, why don't I continue myself with the Excel? During that time, no, I had, I was there in the home for 1.5 to 2 years, nearly 2 years. And this is my major work, for the 12 hours, 13 hours. I used to do that exercises from Mike Goodman's channel, my other channels, Nabil Morad, and then Laila Karani's, these people provided the Excel workbooks. I used to download them and I used to work with them, different exercises. And I used to, combine this exercise, whether we can do this with the other formulas. Or in that way, I was with the Excel formulas, around 12 hours and 13 hours in a day, and for the 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I just built my this analyst skills.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
it what they are asking, or they asked me to?
Yes. I think they were asking like if you have a step by step, what resources did you use? Where does one start? Where does one continue?
Yes. That's what Mike Gilman has a for everyone, for the contemporary world, if it's an Excel guy, you would have come across Mike Gilman, right? He has nearly 3,500 videos, and he provides us with the Excel workbooks, with the start and with the final workbooks.
Yeah, Mr. Excel YouTube channel is a must.
Excel is fun.
Yeah, Excel is fun.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Are you asking if? I think Michael is asking about combining let with many functions. I think that's something that you can, if you accept our invitation, you can come and do it again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, I think we will talk later, and then we can see when you can come and do the let function, and then how to combine the many functions with the let functions here.
Sure, Crispin. We can do it again. Yeah, no issue. Yeah.
It's 6 p.m. 3 minutes actually past 6, and we don't want to keep you very long. Megan, thank you for coming. In the last word you want to give to the attendees?
Which one, Pushpa?
No, I'm saying, do you have any last word? If somebody wants to reach out to you, and if somebody wants to be trained by you, where can they get you?
Yeah, actually, LinkedIn profile is there, and I do have a YouTube channel. I can share you those details.
Yes.
I do have, I can share you the contact details, no issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then you can share with me when I'm sharing this recording. I'll be able to share your contacts to with people so that they can.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, thank you for coming. It has been an eye opener for me also. I've learned a lot, and I hope next time you are going to accept our invitation to do the let function.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wait for Gladys to type, and then we.
Sure.
For
me, it's a great opportunity, Crispo. For me, it's a great opportunity. Thank you very much for that. Because it's the first step, in my what I have in mind, it's the first step. And thanks for making it happen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Gladys is also thanking you for the training. It was great. It was an eye open. I liked your. I don't know how it works. The sum if with only one cell as the sum range. That thing always amazes me every time I see it. I don't know how it works, but it works. Yeah, the way you did the sum if and only in the cell range, you put only one cell instead of the whole range. That's interesting for me.
Understood. That's about referring a single cell, right?
Yes, the single cell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for coming, Megan, and then let's talk later.
Sure, Crystal. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Okay. Okay, bye.